my goodness, Lewis to Ferrari. It feels like every podcast or video we're doing at the moment is an emergency one. There's so much information dropping now, whether it's our local series with the supercars or F1. What a bombshell that happened for us overnight. So it's morning our time, or I guess by the time the video drops, probably a bit later on, but we've just heard the news officially. Although it kind of was rumoured and it was pretty strong, being reported everywhere last night for us, it's official. Ferrari put out their post. Lewis has put out a post. So it is now official. 2025, Lewis is going to Ferrari. So what an amazing bombshell. I mean, what an exciting time to be a Ferrari fan. Lewis to Ferrari. How awesome is that? Can't wait to see how that actually unfolds, what that actually means for the sport, and could he actually really cement himself as the GOAT? Imagine winning a championship for Ferrari along with all of the other 7 championships he's got with McLaren and then through Mercedes. That would be, for me, he would step above Schumacher. So that would just be an awesome thought to get Ferrari back at the top and Lewis Hamilton being the one to do it. What an amazing story this could be. Now, I guess to talk through some of what's unfolded, it looks like he's enacted a clause to not take the year extension. So he was contracted till the end of this year, 2024, with an option to extend. And he has enacted that clause to say, nope, I'm not going to renew with Mercedes. I'm not going to stay where I'm comfortable, or potentially maybe he can see something that he's not happy about. Maybe there's not enough confidence that Mercedes can turn it around after their recent slump. Maybe he feels like a change is needed for him, to be able to see out the rest of his days. He's obviously still performing at a really high level. And we see that when we compare it to Russell, where he's had a couple of peaks, but he has really had some real challenges, let's say, where he's dropped the ball or he's fumbled himself and hasn't been able to capitalise on some of the performances he's had. Is this actually a bit of show of no confidence from Lewis in regards to Mercedes and what's coming down the pipeline? Maybe he doesn't have the confidence that can turn it around. Maybe, I guess it's all speculative at this stage, but maybe this is something that he needs himself to rejuvenate. It's going to be very interesting to watch how it kind of unfolds, because as we know, it is the silly season whenever there's contracts that are up. This one has triggered quite early, given that it's for 2025, but this opens the door for all the flow-on effects of who is driving where. So it's going to be an exciting time. I would sense that there's probably going to be some that will fall quite quickly, like we saw with like Daniel Ricciardo's move and stuff, where things just dropped, or when Vettel retired. We saw a whole bunch of things happen really fast, and then some that sort of lingered on. With majority of the drivers on the grid having a contract up until the end of this year, it really does kind of open the door for sort of all possibilities. So let's talk about Sainz. He's obviously the first one that's displaced from this. A little bit unlucky. I think he's really shown he can adapt and can perform at a really good level, really strong level in all cars that and teams that he's been a part of. But I guess it's pretty undisputed when you've got Lewis available to add to your driver lineup. Everybody's going to be pushed out. I would think there'd be maybe only Max would be the safe seat in that scenario, and like he's arguably in a strong position to be able to take up whatever's on the field. So whether Mercedes want him, whether he's going to move to Mercedes and it's a straight out swap, or potentially with some of the rumours, you've got people like Alonso, who somehow now tied, and he always seems to get his foot in the door when something like this happens, but he's now tied to Mercedes. So then would Sainz then end up at like an Aston, or probably some of the other ones that you could think about, maybe a Red Bull seat. Perez is potentially up. Maybe Danny Rick doesn't get that seat and Sainz goes in. There could be quite a few possibilities. The one that I think that was reported from the race that seems quite strong in their idea, or that what they feel is the right move, would be for him to go to Audi. That'll be a brand new team, really large investment, and they're obviously wanting to succeed. So I think that could be a really strong possibility to get a caliber of driver like him, along with perhaps a really great secondary driver. That would be a really good outcome for both parties, I reckon. And of course, with all this, there's the other drivers in the field that we're opening up to. So let's think about Albon. A really good, strong possibility to slot in there. And you've also got Ocon, who is technically, I believe, still a Mercedes contracted driver. These two are very likely, to fill that Mercedes seat and could be a nice safe bet. I think Albon would be great. He's really shown his ability to go above and beyond in that Williams car, and I think as long as he's in the right environment, which Mercedes I think would suit for him, he could really excel and perform really well. Another kind of outsider or roughie is also their test driver, Mick Schumacher. Whether or not they've got the confidence for him to step into that role. He's more of an outside chance of taking that role, along with some of the drivers they've got through the stack in the F2 category. I would expect them to want to have a really solid driver lineup to be able to take it to Red Bull, because if they do turn the car around, I think that's going to be crucial. And so with that, I'll wrap up this one. Short and sweet, I hope, but still with lots of craziness to come, I bet. Thanks for all the recent new subscribers and those that are commenting, whether it's good, bad, or ugly. We love the engagement. It's always good to see where we can improve, where we think we're right and maybe we think you're still wrong, or where we can have a better dialogue to really open up of what we think might happen in these crazy times. So thanks again, and we'll speak to you in the next pod. Bye.